Jay Dufresne does amazing things. Shawnee Hewitt said that she is a front to be messed with.
These were two of the best blocking teams in the country by the time last season came to an end. Both top four, and we are underway here between the Longhorns and the Bobcats. And in the middle, big things expected from Mariana Singletary.
Singletary is that player where Elliott called her $1 million arm player, and look for her to get more reps tonight, gain that confidence for when fall gets here.
Their new starting middle blocker, of course, Asia O'Neal and Bella Bergmark, finishing up their eligibility with the program. On the other end, on the attack, was Maggie Walsh. Addison Skinner sliding in. The Bobcats set it up. And that one hammered off Swindle. The point by Samantha Wunsch, the all-Sun Belt first-teamer.
Wunsch is that go-to hitter that Shawn Hewitt says it's really stepped up her game. He wants to see her have a bigger leadership role this year as well.
It's a Texas State team that saw their season come to an end in this gym in the postseason. A first-round loss to SMU. Point by Mariana Singletary. Jared Elliott said, listen, middle blocker is the hardest position to transition from high school to college. Now she's ready.
Singletary, it's such a hard position for her and other middles because of that connection with your setter. But her and Swindle are already showing it happening.
Redshirt sophomore out of Charleston, South Carolina. That one hammered off Singletary. On the attack, the transfer, Reagan Rutherford, one of the newest Longhorns. Skinner. Swindle. Jenna Weddis blocked by Texas State. And the Bobcats with the point.
Huge block by Jada Dufresne. And Hewitt said, I'm not worried about my team's blocking. That's one of our strengths. You can see why. The press, the timing, the lineup with the right side, so in sync for the front.
Texas State fresh off their first NCAA tournament appearance in 3 years. As there's the service error. They were one match away from winning the Sun Belt each of the last 2 years, but still managed to get into the postseason a year ago as an at-large bid. Reagan Rutherford with the serve, the transfer from Kentucky. At the top was another new Longhorn, Aiden Ames, the talented freshman out of Prosper, Texas.
When you're playing Texas, you got to keep the ball on your side. And Aiden Ames, already new to college, but not new to the overpass. She's going to punish you and put it right back on you.
Jared Elliott said that could be the best freshman he's ever had, Aiden Ames, as far as being ready to play right away.
And that blocking kink right there from Ames is what these spring matches are for. Learning how to line up with your setter, put 4 strong hands over the net. And that's what he's looking to see, is how does Aiden Ames and his players respond to those mistakes.
Bobcats managed to tool the block. Here's Olivia Adair, redshirt sophomore out of Johnson City. But in 28 sets a year ago for the Bobcats, sliding over on the attack is Ames. So used to seeing Asia O'Neal sliding over. It's a new era here in Austin.
We got to replace the queen when she leaves. Aiden Ames showing strength with Swindle. And the slide's the hardest thing to find. That timing, the window having to be there, that's not something that comes simple.
Jenna Weddis with the serve. The dump attempt by Farish denied. Texas State with the point.
Swindle with the air, but that dump was something she probably would not have done early this past season. She's a lot more confident with her offensive game so far.
Really matured as the season went on. Brooke Benke serving for Texas State. Sophomore out of Brenham. Addison Skinner, there's the power we saw all of last year.
When you're against Skinner, you got to make sure you're just stopped in base, platform ready, and get around your block because she's coming hard for that corner. Look at how high she reaches. She doesn't even look like she's hitting that hard. That's how much strength she naturally has and has earned.
The 4-time All-American and 3-time national champion. Halter skims one off the tape. And then sliding over for the dig. Back to Skinner with the point. This is a player Jared Elliott told us should be the face of women's volleyball right now. He kind of compared her to Caitlin Clark in women's basketball.
That's a very fair comparison, Skinner and Caitlin Clark, because she's the go-to player on her team, mainly because of her offense, even right here, changing the shot to line over that cross.
Emma Halter punched over And that one off of Rutherford for the point. Reagan Rutherford, the two-time All-American, former teammate of Madison Skinner at Kentucky, making her way to Austin this year. Bailey Henner, the junior out of Sugar Land, serving. A lot of talent returning on this Texas State team. The dig by Adair. Hammered home by Maggie Walsh, the San Marcos native.
Perfect hit by Walsh. Hewitt says she's the team steady Eddie, and she's calm. She reads the block. She puts the ball where the holes are.
Texas State has starters returning at just about every single position. Now keep in mind, they have two freshmen coming in we won't see tonight as that one drops in. Texas State still waiting for their talented freshmen. Texas already has them on campus and playing tonight.
And Texas State also isn't scared of Texas. They like playing in Gregory Gym. Sean Hewitt said they're excited for this. They played them in the tournament. Really great matchup here.
Ella Swindle. Here comes Walsh. Off of Jenna Wennis.
It does look like that ball from Walsh would have been out. Wennis really high in her base. When you're high in your base, you got to let the ball go out if it's above your waist.
So a tight match early on here in this exhibition matchup. Carly Ferris, former transfer out of TCU, serving. And catches the tape and a little bit of help as the ace for Texas State evens things up at 8.
Everyone loves a net ace. There's no shame in that, Alex. Ferris doing a good job at trying to go for that zone and paying off with the net help.
She's locked in a battle for starting setter with Ryan Torres, who was the starting setter a year ago for the Bobcats. Skinner, forget about it.
One reason Skinner is so lethal is she's so good at all rotations from the back row, the left side, and now the right side. She's still making production happen left at your screen. Doesn't matter, there's 4 strong hands against her. She's going to get over the fingers. 6th in the nation in kills percent last year. Also had 46 aces. Swindle in the middle, Singletary off a number of Bobcats, and finally ends up with the point. Great hustle by Texas State. Credit to them for staying in the play, making sure there's a hand on the ball.
Ariana Singletary, former Gatorade South Carolina Player of the Year. Texas back up by 2. Skinner serving again. Walsh took something off of it that paid off.
Nice eye by Walsh. She was a little early on that approach and read the defense against the Longhorns. That hole in the middle of the court's always open, and she went for it.
Junior with 25 aces a season ago. Rutherford.
Huge kill by lefty Rutherford. It started with that 3-option pass from Emma Halter, allowing Swindle to use anyone she wants in her offense to try to show off at Rutherford.
Jared Elliott said Reagan Rutherford brings totally different arsenal than Molly Phillips. A little bit more physical, extremely powerful arm.
And a lefty.
And a lefty as well. From the back row, Walsh into the net. Interesting to see how long players like Skinner and Wennis stay in there. As Jared Elliott told us, he wants a chance to see everybody on this Texas roster service error by the Longhorns.
Both Texas State and Texas have a few service errors. This kind of match is where you take those errors. Jared Elliott wants to see his players go behind the line and serve as hard as they can.
Few players out tonight for the Longhorns as Rutherford denied point Texas State. Texas playing without Kayla Akana, who's week to week with an injury, without the transfer from Nebraska, Whitney Lowenstein, and without Nia Bunton as well this evening. As for the players lost from a season ago, of course, O'Neal, Bergmark Phillips, as well as Carissa Barnes and Marina Crownover, who transferred to Missouri. Here's Alyssa Ortego, senior out of San Antonio's second team, all Sun Belt Conference performer. In the middle was Ames. Free ball for Texas. Skinner setting up Rutherford and ends up with the point. But the set by Skinner.
Yeah, we'll touch on the set by Skinner later. New rules here in volleyball. That set probably wouldn't have been allowed a few weeks ago.
Now everybody can set.
Yeah, basically.
Double contact allowed. We will certainly get into that as Texas State with a number of rule changes for this upcoming season as the Bobcats have pulled back within one. What do you think Jared Elliott's looking for out of this opening set here? You still have all the familiar faces and some new ones. And as the match goes on, of course, we'll see more new players for the Longhorns enter. Off the Texas block, but out of play.
Two young blockers right now, Aiden Ames and Ella Swindle. Last season, Swindle learned a lot being up next to Asia O'Neal, All-American blocker. And right now, Swindle's the leader when it comes to blocking. So a couple of things to fix, but she learned from the best last season.
Absolutely, as Olivia Adair serving for the Bobcats, who are hanging right with Texas early until that service error.
Skinner's gotten really good at deciding what ball is in or out, and that's because teams are going to serve her. They're always going to try and serve Skinner, take her out of system, get in her head.
Jenna Weddis with the serve. Saving it was Ferris. Free ball for the Longhorns. Swindle sliding over the freshman Ames. Texas State, however, answers right back.
Texas State defense doing a good job at having their left foot on the line. That was a great hit by Ames. Barely out. The swing was there. That is not an error to be upset over.
There's Benke, the sophomore. Skinner taps it over. Walsh was there. In the middle, miscommunication there with Bailey Henner. At a timeout here in Austin, we'll be back. Longhorns up one early. Ready to officially join the conference next season. And what a loaded SEC that will be in volleyball and a number of sports. Linus, as play resumes, Skinner too strong. SEC should be a heck of a conference.
I'm excited to see the SEC, especially Kentucky. Two former Kentucky players on the Texas team. Florida, a great one. Arkansas might have been my favorite SEC team. One of their best outsides, Jill Gillen, graduated, but she was 5'8", and outside, just destroying it. Speaking
of, Skinner absolutely destroying that one. You look at the SEC teams without Texas in it. Last year, Arkansas, as you mentioned, number 8. Tennessee was 9. Kentucky finished ranked 10th. And Florida finished 19th.
Florida would have finished a lot higher, in my opinion. Their setter, Alexis Stuckey, got hurt beginning of the season, and she was SEC Freshman of the Year last year.
That should be an interesting schedule on tap for the Longhorns next year as Texas State gets the point.
Texas State doing a good job at reading Texas and making sure they are following Skinner's arm. She's hitting hard. She's not really tipping right now. They got to make sure they're reading where she's facing.
Harley Ferris serving for the Bobcats. Swindle reaches for it. Halter ends up being an ace for Texas State.
And Halter with the hustle, but in a spring match, not really worth potentially hurting yourself, diving into the chair, though she does do that in season.
Well, now you got NIL money.
That's true. A lot going on now.
Not what the fans want to hear. That was Texas State's first lead of the night. It's short-lived as we are tied again at 17. Talk to Jared Elliott in a little bit here in this exhibition matchup. They are set to go 5 sets, no matter the outcome of the first 3. Walsh sends it over. In the middle, hammered home by Mariana Singletary.
Singletary has been waiting to show her arm and how powerful it is and what she can do. Look at this connection with Swindle, but look how fast her arm snaps. You blink, you're gonna miss it. She has the height, the reach, and she can hit right by the 10-foot line.
She's got 4 kills on 4 attacks, hit better than 350 last year, where she's pushing it over. Texas with the point.
And these spring games are almost a tryout, not for Maddie Skinner, Ella Swindle, but for the players like Singletary or new players like Reagan who are trying to earn that spot. You got to show out everything you do in this match.
Skinner a bit too strong. Jared Elliott told us that, listen, winning it this past year was totally different than the season before. Remember, 2 years ago, they were a super team right off the bat. Everybody had them in the crosshairs, had the target on their back. They were #1 going into the year, lived up to the hype. Last year, totally different story. A lot of people counted them out early when they started off the year 5-3. When we talked to Jared Elliott throughout the season a year ago, you could tell at times he was unsure, but by the end of the year, they flipped a switch and battled back to make it 2 in a row. Again, we'll talk to Coach coming up in a bit. Leaders for the Longhorns, Skinner with 5 kills, Singletary with 4. Maggie Walsh with 3 for Texas State. Skinner diving for that one. Rutherford right into the Texas State block. Again, Texas State 4th best block in the country, 1 spot behind Texas.
Huge block by Texas State, an ISO block against Rutherford. That just shows you how good Texas State is at blocking. They don't even need a double block. They can handle it on their own.
Ortega serving again. Rutherford off the top of the block. Ortega slid in there. From the back row, Walsh gets the point.
Great decision by Walsh. Every coach wants to have that back row attack in their arsenal. She did a good job at reading the defense. Texas really pulled back, especially their wings, dropped her arms a little bit and went right over the block.
Texas State up by 1. Still strange to see no Jermaine O'Neal back there in the seats behind Ortega is serving right now.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even consider that part yet.
Fixture for so long here at Gregory Gym. Play resumes, Wenis.
Maybe I'm still supportive of Ethan Austin during game day.
Off the touch, tied again.
And Wenis has gotten so used to using the hands in her favor. She is not scared of the block. She's that player that's going to try and punish you with your hands.
Oh, how about the ace for the transfer, Reagan Rutherford. Well, Jared Elliott said she had $1 million arm, putting Texas up by 1.
We've already seen Swindle take.
Mentioned the 5-1. We didn't even mention the second setter Texas added. Sure, she will see playing time. Avery Carlson out of Baylor as Texas retooling during the offseason. The Longhorns up by 1, hitting right about 300. Rutherford fresh off Texas's first ace of the night. That one past Emma Halter. Bobcats tied up again.
And Sam Wunsch was almost gliding in the air. She wasn't going straight on the ball. She was kind of swerving to the right and still went with her arm. That was a great hit.
Bobcats hitting 273. Jenna Wenis, great effort. The back row by Maggie Walsh. Wenis taps it over. Off 3 Bobcats and then out of play. Point Texas.
If you can hustle like how Texas State just did, your coach is never going to be mad. When there's a hand on the ball, body on the floor, giving your all effort, that's going to eventually pay off.
Wenis with the serve. In the middle, Hanner caught part of the net as well. Texas set point here in the exhibition opener. the Texas block, and the defending national champs end the set on a 5-1 run.
Herman Way for Swindle to end the set with a huge block, and that's something that when you're a
beginning of next season, and here's the sophomore then, Ella Swindle, who had that tremendous freshman campaign, all Big 12 rookie team member. Set number 2 starts off with a Skinner point.
And Skinner was a little early in that approach, but she has that hang time. Even when she's a little early, she almost just freezes in the air. Look at her in the air. She stays in there for a while, a little early on the approach, but she can still make production happen as she's coming down.
An unreal player who each of the last 2 years got better as the season went on and the games got more and more important. Wenis charging in from the back row with a big smile on her face after that one.
And if Wenis can add that back row attack to her arsenal as well, that's going to make her even more valuable, because that's what Jarrett Elliott wants, is players in the middle back position that can make kills happen.
What a redemption story last year for Jenna Wenis, as Texas gets the ace courtesy of Swindle. We talk about Jenna Wenis, and everybody who follows this team and this sport knows she faced a lot of criticism and critiques throughout the year, but saved her best for last. Hit .292 with four blocks in the national championship match. I'll tell you what, Ella Swindle doesn't want to let me talk about it. That's 2 aces now.
But from what Jarrett Elliott says about Ella Swindle, I could see that being true. She seems very humble, wants the attention on her team, that kind of player.
Texas has won 9 of the last 10 points. Going back to the last set. 3 straight aces for Ella Swindle.
Ella Swindle's going for that deep flow too, not even changing it up with a short serve, going right for that seam, avoiding the libero. It's exactly what you want to do. Go for a seam and avoid the libero.
She had 30 aces a season ago. And it won't be 4 straight. Spinning on the top of the tape, Halter. Skinner, precision, accuracy from the senior.
Accuracy is exactly what went well in that play right there. It wasn't the left back, it wasn't the front, it was a perfect cut shot. It wasn't the hardest hit, but she was going for that spot.
Take a timeout here, and no matter the outcome of the first 3 sets, the Longhorns and the Bobcats will play a full 5-setter this evening. Ella Swindle already with 3 aces in this one. Mariana Singletary showing out so far tonight.
Singletary is going off, and she is yet to revert to rolls or tips. She's going for the heavy hitter shots, and she's moving the ball around too.
That's a player growing up in South Carolina who was an absolute star in Charleston. Caught the attention of Dawn Staley, head coach of the South Carolina's women's basketball team. Said, that kid is a heck of an athlete. We need to get her on campus. Fortunately for Jarrett Elliott, she made her way to Austin as Texas State picks up point number 1.
It's always hard to say no to Dawn, I'm sure. Not that she's ever asked me to be on her team, but I can only imagine telling her no thank you.
Only dream. Here's Alyssa Clark with the serve. Halter flying in there. That one hammered out of play, too strong by Reagan Rutherford.
The only thing wrong with that hit from Rutherford was the snap in the wrist. And she could have been trying to go for the fingertips. Outside hitters will also do that sometimes. But the swing looks good.
We're up just outside of Houston, Missouri City. Texas State with another point. Swindle. Ortega. There's Walsh, the Texas block there. Singletary so active tonight. Great job defensively by Ortega for Texas State. Pushed over by Wenis. Bobcats keep it alive. Swindle. Skinner comes flying in and tools the block.
Maggie Walsh making great plays and not able to make a huge block against Skinner. And it looked like Walsh's hands were in the right spot. The press was there, the timing, but Skinner's going to go off her hands if he can.
Madison Skinner with the team high 8 kills, hitting .417. Service error. Texas with 4 aces so far tonight, 3 of them from Ella Swindle. Texas State, a couple of aces so far. Here's Ortega. Wenis waits for it. Timing a little bit off there for Texas State. Pushed over by Wenis. There's Wunsch. And the Longhorns get the point.
Just a little miscommunication. Wunsch not able to take a full approach. Did a good job adjusting her feet, trying to get the down ball, but not able to keep it in play.
Number 45 now back in the match for Texas, the freshman Aiden Ames up in front of the net. Here's Singletary serving. Mariana Singletary nearly ended up with the ace. Flying in is Skinner. I mean, we said that all year long a season ago.
Look at how low that set was from Ella Swindle. That's almost a back row 1. That's forcing Skinner to speed up. That ball's barely in the air. Usually it's a back row attack. It's much higher, but that's showing how quickly Skinner and Swindle can hit the ball.
Skinner now with 9 kills. There's Ames. Swindle. Jenna Wenis got all that, but Texas State was ready. Off of Skinner, up into the rafters. Singletary saving it. And earns an applause from the crowd, and Texas ends up with the point.
Great defense at the front by Texas. And Singletary showing middles can play defense too. Middle blocker Singletary chasing that ball down, staying in the play.
Texas on a mini 3-0 run right now. Wunsch diving for it was Rutherford, unable to save it.
And Wunsch read who's in front of her, Singletary. Usually it's Emma Halter left back. That rotation of Singletary. Wunsch took full advantage of the middle blocker being back, being tall, went for that tip. Great decision.
Wunsch serving. Wunsch, Austin native, played at Vandergrift. Jenna Wenis with the point. Longhorns on the night hitting .286. Texas State .077. Off the block, that one skimmed past the head of Madison Skinner. Point Texas State. Bobcats went 20-10 a season ago. Earning a trip to the NCAA postseason in this arena, along with SMU, Texas, and Texas A&M. Texas block showed up big time. Longhorns now with 5 blocks. 1 more than Texas State. Jenna Wenis serving. Swindle was there for the block. Bobcats try the other side, too far. Remember last year, Garrett Elliott said the blocking duo, the middle blockers, A.J. O'Neal and Bella Bergmark, the best blocking duo he had ever had. Big shoes to fill, but Singletary willing and able. She's been waiting for this moment. And how about Aiden Ames in the middle, the 6'4" freshman? She was the #3 recruit in the nation.
Yeah, Aiden Ames, the physicality, but also the talent. You can be 6'4", but you might not have your body figured out. She's got it all figured out.
Wenis nearly got the ace for Texas. The dump by Swindle didn't go so well, but hustle by Winnes saved it. Pass the head of Rutherford, and the point by Brooke Benke.
Texas State trying to dig their way out of the huge hole they had. And first, they did a good job of keeping up with Texas, having strong serves. Serve and blocking is probably the best way for Texas State to get back in this.
Off the Bailey Hanner serve, service error.
Is that my fault? I feel like that was my fault.
It never is. Never shall. 16-7 Longhorns lead. Emma Halter getting ready to serve, the relentless sophomore libero. Career high 38 aces a year ago. Of course, flying all over the place defensively as well. There's another ace for Texas, their 5th of the night.
And talking to Jared Ellett this week about Halter, seeing what do you want her to elevate even more in her game? And he said serving. Right now she's going for different seams. She's being aggressive, taking some off, and it clearly is paying off.
Benke met by Ella Swindle. Swindle last year, the Longhorns up 18-7. Halter serving, fresh off the ace. Into the block it goes, and out of play, point Bobcats.
Point Bobcats, but Maddie Skinner was all the way out to the right side. I don't see her triple block often. That could be something new Texas is trying to add to their game.
Swindle, Rutherford behind her, deflects that one high out of play, but saved by Maggie Walsh. Swindle behind her, and tooling the block is Mariana Singletary. And the point goes to Texas. That one just missed. We're now joined by the back-to-back national championship winning head coach, Jared Elliott, who will quickly switch headsets while nobody's watching.
There we go.
Coach, congratulations on yet another title. I feel like we just talked to you yesterday, getting ready for the postseason. Here you are celebrating back-to-back championships. What has your offseason been like the past few months?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. You know, obviously we had to get back into the recruiting game, and then we got back right into school pretty fast. So it's been a lot of fun with this group. A lot of great chemistry, and just they're working well together right now, and super fun, competitive gym.
How different was it winning last year? The process of going through what you all went through last year, starting off a little slow compared to the year before.
Yeah, it's probably slower than the last 10 years, but it's, you know, I think the year before there was obviously a lot of pressure because the expectations were that we were going to win with the team that we had as the season went along. And, you know, the way that we started last year kind of took all the pressure off us and allowed us to kind of grow and develop as a team and kind of worry about just getting better day in and day out. And that happened, and the way that we finished was a pretty special moment.
Madison Skinner picking up where she left off. What do you make of Mariana Singletary, not only tonight, but heading into this crucial season for her?
Well, she's really developed as a player. You know, she came in a little bit inexperienced from South Carolina, but has really been working on, you know, her defensive game, and her offensive game is really coming along with that, and they have a nice blend to it. So she's waited in the wings for a while, but she's working really hard, and we're really pleased at the way that she's playing this spring.
Smile there with our new camera there. You're still taller than me, and I'm standing up pretty much. You're sitting down. Texas giving up the point there to Texas State. When you look at a player like Aiden Ames, one of the most talented freshmen in the country, what do you make of her? I know you expect big things. You told us that.
Yeah, you know, she's very highly decorated, but, you know, you never know what a freshman is going to be like till they. And, you know, she's come in, and her level of experience and what she's done and the way that she's able to play the game at a high level as a freshman is truly remarkable. We don't have many freshmen that's that capable of playing.
The night before your match, you came to you in the hotel and said, Coach, I know we're going to win. Can you tell us more about that story?
Yeah, I think there's a confidence that they had amongst each other, and the way that they were talking was the right frame of mind, and it was really exciting to kind of hear them and see that the way that their confidence was and the way that they were talking about it, that they had a lot of confidence in this group, and that says a lot about the way they felt with Ella, who was a true freshman, and the way they developed as a group.
I was going to let you call this set point, but your team is too good. Another ace by the Longhorns. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Texas dominating the second set, 20 from Gregory Jin. Getting ready to serve for the Bobcats, Ryan Torres, senior here in Central Texas. That one hammered out of play. Texas just has dominated over the last set and the first point of the third. Aiden Ames, #1 recruit in the state of Texas, #3 in the nation. And by the way, that's a player who is very aware of the service error there by Wenis. Very aware of the rich tradition of great middle blockers in Texas history. Wants to be a part of that. Has a lot of respect for that position. Benke serving for Texas State. Skinner still in there. Jared Elliott did tell us she wouldn't play a lot. Not the case so far. She has been utterly dominant. Devin Kahahawai in there now for the Longhorns for the first time tonight. Skinner, look out!
Huge kill by Skinner, but that block from her earlier in the point is a textbook block. When you teach how to block, you show this video to your players. Look at her hands. They flick to the middle of the court and then leading defense going to offense, making sure she's avoiding the back row players with getting that overpass.
Unstoppable there off the Ames serve. Free ball for the Longhorns. Back to Skinner. A rare miscue.
And that ball had zero spin on it. It looked like a float serve almost. That just means that Skinner made awkward contact with the ball. Instead of slapping it, she kind of just pushed it really hard.
On the night, Texas still hitting just above 300. Olivia Adair serving for Texas State. Singletary off the tape and off Torres. Swindle couldn't save it.
Credit to Texas State because they are going up against triple blocks right now, and Sam Wunsch is not intimidated whatsoever, beating 6 Texas blockers' hands.
Their head coach Sean Hewitt told us, listen, 2 of our 3 freshmen coming in a few months will most likely start for this team next season, but unfortunately they won't be here with the club until July.
It's given secret weapon, Alex. It's not to give away the secrets too soon. Sam Wunsch with the air, not able to make sure her hands are steady. Got to make sure you're pressing.
And now making her first appearance as a Longhorn is the Austin native Reese Emmerich out of Westlake High School. The point, however, deposited by Maggie Walsh.
Texas State doing a really good job with those off shots, and Walsh is reading the defense, whether it's the blockers or the back row, and she's making sure she's throwing in different shots.
Into the net it goes, service error. Well, women's basketball getting ready to wrap up this season as Texas plays host to BYU on Saturday, senior night for the Longhorns at 7 p.m. Central here on LHN. Again for their regular season finale. Madison Skinner with the serve. Emmerich, Swindle. When it's off the block, Maggie Walsh came flying in. From the back row, Benke denied and kicks it in frustration.
A lot of triple blocks from Texas tonight. And that's something that they're doing a lot of. Again, watch these hands by Wenis, lined up perfectly with Singletary. Doing a great job of getting 3 blockers on each hitter against Texas State.
Texas with 7 blocks through pretty much 2.5 sets. Sliding over with the point is Bailey Henner. It's a Texas State team, as we said, we covered in the postseason a year ago. They won't be intimidated. Yes, it's an exhibition matchup. but still showing fight, and they battled back in that first set as well. It's a close first set.
Can't be scared of your neighbors, Alex.
Well put, as Madison Skinner with the scary swing, kill number 13 for the senior.
Scary is a pretty good word for when Maddie Skinner comes attacking that ball, especially from the back row, because she can land at the front. That gives her so much more force, velocity, just flying into the ball.
Here's Halter. Too wide from Bailey Hanner.
And Hannah's footwork looked great. The approach was nice. The block was just forcing her to go down the line. Got to make sure you're keeping it in.
Halter did a great job replacing Zoe Fleck last year, more than 440 digs. Like one right there by the sophomore, and Skinner just so quick to end a point immediately.
Watching Skinner attack from the back row, you got to look at where she lands. She lands up at the net. That's how much she's throwing into her approach. That's how hard she is hitting. You could even argue she can hit harder from the back than the front.
Tapped over, one-handed, and Texas gets the point. Wow. I think it was Reese Emmerich who gets credit for that.
Reese Emmerich making her name known in this match, doing a great job. It's all in that reaction, but she also made it go back to target, not just getting it up, but keeping it on that net.
It's unreal. The service error for Texas, but still an early highlight in the career of Reese Emmerich, just like she planned.
There you go, Reese Emmerich. It's your close-up. You're here.
Set a school record for digs and aces during her time at Westlake. That one spinning off of Hanner. Texas block.
Great hustle.
Swindle. Ames with the point.
Aiden Ames was not going to let them have it. Texas State doing such a good job at keeping the ball up. Again, just putting your arms out there. But Ames sees how pulled back the left back is. Ready for that ball.
Aiden Ames with 4 kills, hitting .429. 5 blocks as well. Service error by Swindle. Well, we said Texas started the year 5-3. They dealt with injuries to Asia O'Neal. Maddie Skinner was sick earlier in the year, especially during that Stanford match. On the ropes against Tennessee, and then after that, beat Stanford 3-1, beat Wisconsin 3-1, and then swept Nebraska in the championship match. I mean, they look like a different team there in those last 3 matches.
Wisconsin has the biggest blocking team in the nation. 6'9", 6'7", 6'5", and Texas came in and made it look like almost nothing by sweeping them. Just incredible play. Wisconsin is one of the best teams you can watch.
Absolutely. Devin Kahahawai with a point to Texas State. Kahahawai has played 33 sets in each of the first 2 years. We'll see what she does in her junior season. A big fan favorite, former Hawaii High School Gatorade Player of the Year, top 10 recruit in the nation, coming out a few years ago. Wenis with authority.
It's all on Wenis' shoulders, literally turning to face the right back of Texas State in one huge motion. That snap, her wrist, everything looking great on that approach.
Jenna Wenis hit .421 in this gym in the second round matchup against SMU. Tapped over by the free. Skinner. I mean, just dominating as usual. 15 kills now. 5 digs, hitting better than 400. Hitting nearly 500 at this point on the night. Texas State tools the block.
Nice play by Wunsch, really coming in for the 2 from that right side. And then floating to the right, making sure she tags Skinner's hands. That was a really great play.
Alyssa Clark, Round Rock native. Round Rock native, played at Cedar High, a storied career there. Redshirt sophomore now for this upcoming season for the Bobcats. In the middle, Aiden Ames. Kill number 5 for the freshman.
That almost looked like it hurt Dufree. Ames hitting so hard. She's physical, she's tall, she knows where to place that ball, and she looks like she's having fun while doing it.
Most importantly, Ames hitting 500. Singletary swats it down.
I don't picture Texas State continuing to make the overpass mistake, because that's literally giving Texas a gift with a bow on it, literally giving Singletary a stat on the sheet.
Singletary's hitting 875, Ames 500, and Skinner 475. Flying in is Jenna Wenis to add to that list. Take a timeout here with the long. Of course, they lost the likes of Asia O'Neal, Molly Phillips. Some of the new faces, 8 names we've talked about, Reagan Rutherford. Still yet to see Avery Carlson, the transfer from Baylor, and Whitney Lowenstein will not play tonight, the transfer from Nebraska.
And bringing in Avery Carlson, she was such a talented setter at Baylor, and you would think, do you need one? Ella Swindle won you a national championship, or help to it, but Jarrett Elliott said he talked to Ella and said, hey, we're gonna bring in another setter, let her know, talk to her parents, and Ella said, coach, go get her, we need her. And if you can use a 6'2", whether it's here and there, or a set, whatever that looks like, the fact that Swindle, that was her reaction, Carlson can push her, she can push Carlson, that's gonna be a great add to the competitive gym as well.
That says a lot about Ella Swindle, because there are plenty of players who would not have been fine with that. And as Singletary just destroys that one, there are a number of players too who would have said, yeah, it's fine, but they wouldn't really mean it. Swindle means it. She wanted coach to bring on the competition. And here is, speaking of the transfer from Baylor, Avery Carlson, number 17, entering the match and getting ready to serve. Former Big 12 Freshman of the Year 2 seasons ago. Tapped over, diving in is Carlson. Skinner. Texas ends up with the point. So Avery Carlson in there now. Somewhat a surprise during the offseason. She was one of the best setters in the Big 12 with the Bears. 3rd in the conference in assists per set. But here she is in a Longhorns uniform.
Nice serves.
So new to the Longhorns that she doesn't even have her name on a jersey yet. But it will happen by the time the regular season rolls around. Number 17 for Texas. She was the highest ranked recruit in Baylor history a few years ago. Number 1 setter in the nation. Mariana Singletary taking over, 9 kills on 10 attacks.
And Carlson putting it in that perfect window for Singletary. With that play, looking like they've already played matches together before. That chemistry is really hard to come by.
Skinner still in there for the Longhorns, serving. Texas on the night hitting 384. And for Texas State, 043. Remember, that first set was neck and neck. Texas pulled away for the 25-22 win. Since then, all Longhorns. And another point. Well, on Tuesday, we'll have the final game plan with Vic Schaefer of the season at 9:30 p.m. Central. He'll break down the most recent games and look ahead to the postseason right here on LHN and the ESPN app. And Halter gets the ace, 7th of the night for Texas. Longhorns doing a little bit of everything. 7 aces, 7 blocks, and hitting nearly 380. Benke tools the block.
A great tool on the left side. Again, reading Reagan's arm, seeing that she's slightly facing out of bounds and going right for the hand, dropping your pinky, kind of a little cobra.
It's Ali Adair. Reagan Rutherford right inside the block. One of those transfers for Texas.
An error you not see Jade Dufree make really ever. She's usually good with her footwork. I think she misstepped a little bit, and that led to her arms not able to be over the net.
There's Ella Swindle serving. The Swindle with 26 assists on the night. She was huge in the postseason. The end of last year, 3 double-doubles. Once we hit the postseason, including one in the first match of her NCAA tournament career against Texas A&M, and the Longhorns pulling away here in the third.
And now Swindle back in for Carlson.
Well, and she was calm and poised, has that poker face right from her first career match as a Longhorn. Hawaii. There's Benke unable to get it across.
Texas State just looking scattered right now. The blocks aren't there. The hit's not really there. Maybe just need a reset. Get back to what they were doing in the first half of the first set.
Fans on their feet. First set point. Sean Hewitt looks on. Shove in the back there is Dufree, was told to pretty much get out of her way by the teammate. Texas State scrambling. Swindle. Wenis. Bobcats keep it alive. Attacked by Walsh. Great dig by Halter, and Wenis finishes off the set as Texas takes it 25-14.
Wenis again using the hands of her opponents in her favor, not scared to go straight forward if she sees the hand.
Still going to take a while to get used to seeing those SEC logos on the floor of Gregory Gym. Here is Maggie Walsh. Texas earns the first point of set number 4.
And that just goes to show you, when your block is in the right place at the right time, even if you don't touch the ball, that can sometimes force hitters to take the error.
Emmerich set a Westlake record with 135 aces in her career. Halter tried to keep it alive, but we're tied at 1. Longhorns hit 380 through the first 3 sets. Off the Walsh serve. In the middle, Aiden Ames, you could just see her winding up to get all of that.
And I like the celebration between Swindle and Ames. You gotta celebrate a huge hit like that. Ames making it look easy with this one. And look how she turns her shoulders. Make sure you keep note of that when she's hitting. She's gonna turn and face that corner.
Again, when Jared Elliott says she could be one of the best freshmen to have an immediate impact he has had. Lofty expectations. Service error there, 2-2. Kaylee Akana, Jenna Wenis, and Ames discussing things. Devin Kahawai. Now, she has flashed throughout her career at times and shown that great power like she did there.
And Kahawai showing fearlessness, going straight down the line at the libero. Perfect window, avoiding the block, not scared of the left back defense, going with all the power.
61 kills in her first couple of seasons. Texas State tools the block to answer.
A nice response by the Bobcats. They look like they're playing loose, and that's something they did well in the tournament against Texas. Not putting the pressure on their shoulders, playing their best volleyball.
Yeah, without 2 players, also a couple of potential starters. As the freshmen joined the team in July. Carly Ferris with the serve. Flying in is Madison Skinner. Unreal.
You have to have just the quickest reaction when you're going to dig or attempt to dig Maddie Skinner, because it happens so fast. She gets high, she hits hard, she goes in the seams. The seams meaning it can be between middle back or left back, or middle back or right back. Wherever the open spot's open, that's the seam.
At 16 kills after the first 3 sets. And here she is serving. Service there, just didn't get it across. Well, Shelby, a number of new rules were instituted in the offseason, a couple of them raising some eyebrows. The 2 biggest ones, each team now allowed to designate 2 liberos for each set. Only 1 can be allowed on the court at a time. And players may now contact the ball more than once on any single attempt on a team's second contact, as long as they play it to a teammate. I know the 2 head coaches we have here tonight somewhat disagreed on whether that's a good thing or bad thing for the sport.
And when it comes to doubles, Texas State head coach Sean Hewitt was a setter. So setters work so hard their whole careers at never doubling. So when you implement this rule, you could have a middle in the back row in double. Head coach Jared Ellett, however, sees it, well, the double is really in the ref size. Is it actually a double? Is it not? It's really up to the ref, and it's really an opinion call. With this new rule, that makes it to where the refs can't give their opinions like that. So there's definitely pros, there's cons. Definitely see why so many coaches and players have different views on it.
Yeah, they instituted the rule to try and get rid of some of the more controversial calls in recent memory, iffy calls. I know Jared Elliott was a big fan of this new rule we're going to see this upcoming season.
It's definitely a fun debate. If you play volleyball or you know someone that plays volleyball, ask them, what do you think about the double? I picture them being very opinionated in liking it or not. The libero rule, that's more interesting. That's not so controversial. But this double rule, that's pretty crazy.
Tied at 6 now. Texas up by 1. Haven't seen too many instances of it tonight so far.
No, not at all. And the players are also so trained to not double. Mainly, it could be that the back row players, if the ball's shanked and they can set, maybe they're still using their platform, scared of the double. And I think it'll take a little while for players to start setting. All players, that is.
Texas block just out of bounds. Saw Kenna Miller in there a moment ago for the first time tonight. Richard sophomore. Texas there is 8 in Ames as the Longhorns tied here in the 4th with Texas State. Maggie Walsh with the serve. Alter. Bit too far for Skinner. We talked to Jared Elliott earlier in the week. You asked him, what was your one shining moment from the championship, one memory that sticks out? What did he say? Kissing David Hunt, assistant coach, on the head to show his appreciation. You know, each year you have something. The year before it was, I told Kaylee Akana, you're going to end it right here on this service point, and it was showing his gratitude to his coaching staff there.
And David Hunt has not washed his head since.
Is that confirmed?
No.
Swindle in the middle, absolutely destroyed by Mariana Singletary. Here's Coach Hunt.
And David Hunt works really closely with Ella Swindle, not Avery Carlson. He is what Jared Elliott says is our offensive coordinator. Works well with the setters. They learn a lot from him in practices too.
Jared Elliott's staff does such a great job. And they have for a number of years. Eric Sullivan as well as Coach David Hunt, associate head coaches. I mean, when Coach Elliott comes up here in the rafters to talk to us, those are the guys that take over and make sure everything runs smoothly. Tooling the block is Brooke Benke. What do we make of Texas so far through 3.5 sets now?
I'm still really impressed with the middles right now. It just looks seamless with their connection with Ella, Swindle, blocking, you know, some back row attacks, especially from Jenna Wennis. The back row attack from Skinner, the set's lowered a lot. That means she has to speed up her approach. And Aiden Ames, the freshman, you would never think she's a freshman. And I like that the freshmen for Texas seem to always come in really confident. Like physically, they don't look worried.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because if Ella Swindle can come in on the defending national champions and start the whole year as a true freshman and carry them to another title, I mean, it just shows that poise and calmness is exactly what Jared Elliott is looking for out of his incoming freshman. Kahahawai off of Walsh. Benke. Reese Emmerich was there. Here comes Skinner. Great dig on the other side by Clark. And finishing off the point is Samantha Wunsch.
And Wunsch was really far off the net with this set, but she still was an aggressive attacker. Didn't try and roll or tip, trusted her cut shot.
And the service error by Clark. Yet Texas won each of the first 3 sets, the last 2 in pretty dominating fashion. And here is Avery Carlson, the transfer from Baylor, serving. She had 67 career aces during her time in Waco. Benke off the tape, and it drops. You know, we talked about Ella Swindle's reaction to Carlson joining the team. Yeah, how about Carlson's reaction as well, entering that situation? I mean, you have to have 2 players who are really team players willing to jump into that situation in that environment here, competing. Also, roommates.
Good point with the roommates especially. That's a really good point. Great teammates.
Addison Skinner.
You could argue that if Ella Swindle didn't come in a freshman year with that confidence and continue to grow the confidence, maybe Texas wouldn't have even been in that position to win. She is the quarterback. She is the only person touching the ball every single play, and she's a freshman running the team. You got to be so mentally strong to get through that.
Yeah, I mean, that pressure makes or breaks some young players. Kenna Miller in there now for Texas again. That one didn't make it across. On Wednesday, we'll have the next game plan with Rodney Terry at 8 p.m. Central. He'll break down the Longhorns week and look ahead to the upcoming schedule with insight and analysis that only RT can provide right here on LHN and the ESPN app. Halter, the one-arm bandit.
Great up.
Benke waits for it. She's done a nice job tooling the block tonight.
And Benke's not really scared of that block in front of her, and she's really good at reading. When the hands of Texas aren't facing the middle of the court, she goes for that tool.
It's a team that returned so much, as we said, but a year ago they had lost everything. Last season, Singletary taps it over. Everyone counted them out. Texas can't save it. Heading into last year, Texas returned 1% of their production from the previous year. Nobody expected them to do anything, and all they did was reach the NCAA postseason for the first time in 3 years. Credit to Sean Hewitt. Benke from the back row. Singletary was there along with Rutherford and Miller. Tied up at 14 with Halter ready to serve. Marianne Singletary has had herself A nice match tonight against the Bobcats. One of the new starting middle blockers for the Longhorns this upcoming season. Pushed over, Rutherford was there. Off a Bobcats player. Take a timeout with the Longhorns up by 1 in the 4th.
But as a few weeks ago, it wasn't allowed. Again, the doubles, that means the ball's moving around.
Well, Halter had a service error there a moment ago. It's off the Texas State serve. Saving it is Bailey Hanner. But unable to get it across. Texas by 1. How do you feel about the rule change?
Oh, finally someone wants to know. I'm just kidding. I definitely see Sean Hewitt's side where these setters have worked for who knows how long to have 0 spin on the ball. I personally was not a good setter, so when I would try to set, there was spin. If I played volleyball today, I'd be setting all the time because I'm not worried about the spin. So I think it definitely takes away. However, to Jared Elliott's point, it does give no controversy on the calls moving forward from the refs.
Kenna Miller into the Texas State block, tied again. Yeah, I mean, there was no hesitation to Jared Elliott's voice when we asked him about that. He was quite happy that there would be less controversy in some of those calls.
Well, once these players start getting comfortable with the fact that they can double, I don't think they're comfortable yet. Eventually in the fall, they probably will be. We'll see more doubles. That can really change the game of volleyball.
Absolutely. If you're taught and trained a way to play your entire life, and then the rules change, that is going to take some time.
There was a double from Skinner right there.
Tapped over, nobody home. Point Texas State.
Again, the doubles when the ball is moving. There should be no spin, or used to be no spin. Watch Skinner's ball right here. Great placement, great arms, but the ball is moving. That's definitely a double, which now is fully allowed.
Absolutely. Torres serving. Kahawai had to wait for it to pull up. Middle swindle. Kenna Miller gets the point.
And Miller reading the block of Texas State, not being fully in transition, going through the hands and trusting her strength.
Kenna Miller saw a little bit of postseason time a season ago, 10 sets for her career. There's Reese Emmerich.
Great pass.
In the middle, hammered off the block by Jade DeFree, the Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Year.
And Sean Hewitt says he wants DeFree to even elevate more her offensive game. That's exactly what she's doing. She read that Texas was not there, went for that hard hit.
Led the team last year, hitting nearly 300 on the season. Skinner. Block was ready that time. That caught Walsh. Diving for it is Emmerich, the freshman. Kahawai with the point, Texas. Tied again.
Great hit by Kahawai. Look how high she reaches when she touches that ball. The contact made is unmatched. And now, Emma Halter had a set in there that was no spin. It used to be coaches at this high Power 5 level would recruit liberos that could set. Now, not so much. That's not going to be a factor when it comes to recruiting. So that's some good news for liberos.
Well, good news for Texas State. They jump back in front by 1 if they can take a set here. I know they dropped the first 3. It's great news for Sean Hewitt to get his squad shorthanded. Missing a few veterans and incoming freshmen. Getting his first look at his new squad. Singletary just a bit wide. Bobcats by 2. Madison Skinner still in there for Texas. There's Alyssa Clark serving. Redshirt sophomore. In the middle, it is Mariana Singletary with authority.
Singletary completely going off. That's exactly what she needs to in this spring game. Show Jared Elliott, I deserve to be here. And a big help is Ella Swindle. That perfect window that she knows Singletary wants. That connection's completely there tonight.
At 9 kills on 10 attacks in the first 3 sets of the match. Emma Halter keeps it alive. Here comes Wunsch, Texas block ready. Benke tools the block yet again.
Keep feeding Benke. She is so confident. She is not worried about the Texas block in front of her. She's going with the hands, through the hands, making great decisions for her team right now.
The Bobcats with their best set so far tonight. Ferris serving. Back to Singletary, slammed it off the net, and a defender.
Singletary cannot be stopped. Keep feeding her, whether it's a 1, a 3. Hasn't ran a slide yet, but showing a lot of good things she can do in front of her setter. Now showing that connection with Avery Carlson.
13 kills on the night for Singletary. Skinner backed up KJ Johnson. There's KJ Johnson with a point. Johnson is actually out of eligibility for any fall seasons remaining, but still can help the team out. As we said, they're shorthanded, down a few bodies. So helping out one last time here in the spring, the former Sun Belt newcomer of the year.
When you can come to Ritter Gym and get a kill against Texas, you're gonna do it.
Absolutely. One last big moment in the career of KJ Johnson. Off the tape at Rutherford. Maggie Walsh, and that one is in. 23-20 Bobcats.
Bobcats have completely turned it around when it comes to facing the block. They're playing really smart right now. They're not worried about power. It's all the shots. Dropping her pinky, doing a good job making sure the ball drops right on the line.
Nice response by Texas State here in the fourth. Brooke Benke. Back to Singletary goes Texas. And Texas State just has no answer for her.
And right when you think you can breathe because Singletary's out, Aiden Ames comes in. The middle is just stacked for Texas right now, and Singletary cannot be stopped. At that point, maybe you should start cheating into the middle. If it goes to the out, then just reverse.
Halter. KJ Johnson off of Skinner, and set point on the way for Texas State.
Part of the reason Sean Hewitt's team is always so successful is because they're really good at responding. When they make an error or when a team makes an adjustment to them, they'll respond right back, whether it's blocking. Right now it's their offense, which Sean Hewitt said we're working on the most right now.
His squad is at 400 in this set. Rutherford, however, keeps the fourth alive. Devin Kahawai comes back into the match. Along with Ella Swindle. Set point again for the Bobcats. Ella Swindle has 4 aces tonight. Punched wide, and the Longhorns have battled back to tie the fourth up at 24. Remember, you got to win by 2. Texas is going on so many runs tonight with Swindle serving. It's 5 aces for Ella Swindle. Set point Longhorns. Tapped over, tied again, this time at 25.
And that ball was a little awkward, a little late from the setter. The approach wasn't fully there. But DeFree did a really good job at pausing, slowing the play down, and making sure she at least put the ball in the hole of the court, and it worked out for her.
Ryan Torres now serving for the Bobcats. Senior out of Buda. And an apiece for Texas State. The Bobcats once again with set point on the way. Torres, the second team All Sun Belt Conference performer for the set. Madison Skinner says, not so fast.
You need a kill, you go to Maddie Skinner. And when she's coming from the back row, it's so hard to defend because there's not enough time to put blockers on her. Only one blocker, Jay Dufresne, is on her. Great attack.
Reese Emmerich. Maggie Walsh. Swindle. Skinner. How about the Texas State block? Kahawai. Set point Longhorns.
Great job defensively at the net for Texas State. When it comes to the back row, defense on the ground and not able to keep that ball in play.
Here's Emmerich. Off the block, Halter. Madison Skinner. Bobcats were ready. Kahawai. Walsh off Halter, punched over by Madison Skinner. Texas setting it up in the middle for Aiden Ames. Pancake delivered by the Bobcats. Batted at by Swindle, somehow keeps it alive. What a rally. Ames puts it away, and Texas takes set number 4.
Aiden Ames with the set-winning kill, and Texas State had great defense that play. Stanford. Jared Elliott said the night before, Asia O'Neal and Maddie Skinner went up to him and said, we're going to win tomorrow. And he said, you sure? And they said, no, we are going to win tomorrow. Go on to take only one set off, lose one set against Wisconsin, then sweep Nebraska. They just had the mental mindset where they decided, no, we're not going to do this. We're tired of being compared to the year before with Logan Eggleston there. A huge loss to the outside hitter Logan Eggleston, and decided they don't really have a vocal leader, but Jared Elliott said, we don't really need one. We all lead by example. We come together, we play our best game, and it was really awesome to watch them cancel out that noise from the media.
I thought that was so interesting, yeah, what O'Neal and Skinner said to him in the hotel. That was following that Tennessee match. Remember, against Tennessee, they were down 2-1. Down to their last point of the year, 24-23 in the fourth. They reeled off 3 straight points to keep their season alive, and then, as you just mentioned, the rest is history. But those behind-the-scenes conversations, always fascinating to hear about. Texas State beginning the 5th and final set with the opening point. Remember, we go to 15 here in the 5th. A dart from Aiden Ames. Texas taking each of the first 4 sets. And Jenna Weddis with a point here in the 5th.
Now Auburn Tompkinson's also in the match on the right side. Seeing more and more faces, even though it's the 5th set.
The 6'5" redshirt freshman out of Carlsbad, California. Here's Aiden Ames serving. Benke sends it over, and it ends up getting the point for the Bobcats.
Benke's made a lot of production happen for the Bobcats right now, and I really like that Texas State is playing so loosely. They're so fun to watch because they don't wear pressure on their shoulders, and I think that comes from Coach Hewitt. You talk to him, he's that steady Eddie of his team.
Oh my goodness, Mariana Singletary, just relentless tonight.
I see why Jared Elliott said Singletary has that $1 million arm. She's really shining tonight, was patient last year, waiting her turn, taking full advantage of this spring match.
Looks comfortable and confident in that starting role. Reese Emmerich serving. Hammered by Wunsch. Skinner was there. Singletary takes something off of it. Sliding in was Clark. Skinner, that one is in.
You can literally hear the contact Skinner is making with the ball. That's how hard she is attacking the ball from behind the 10-foot line. Flying into the ball. It's like she's mad at the ball.
Jerry Elliott, that's a great way to describe it, told us she was only going to play a little bit. She has played all 5 sets and now has 20 kills on the night. Remember last year in the postseason, she had a stretch of 4 straight matches with at least 20 kills. Torres serving. Carlson over to Jenna Wenis, who deflects one into the stands. Well, our next women's basketball game will be right here on LHN Saturday when the regular season wraps up with senior night against BYU, number 3 Texas. And Brigham Young from the Moody Center right here on LHN Saturday at 7 p.m. Central. Off the Wenis serve. There she is on the back row. Skinner, oh my goodness, just punishes Alyssa Clark.
That was such a good attempt by Clark, too. She was stopped at her base, platform ready. Really nothing wrong with that attempt to dig. Skinner is just hitting that hard. There's honestly only so much you can do at some points.
Goodness, 5 sets in, still just crushing the ball. Benke answers with the point. She's had a strong night. Sophomore out of Brenham.
Benke hitting almost 500. Actually, now hitting 500. So steady, Eddie. Doing a good job at staying consistent, and that's something that Coach Hewitt prides his team on, is their consistency that they bring every season, even when losing most of their offense.
Had a good showing tonight. Played Texas close in the 1st and 4th sets. Batted and bobbled around. Avery Carlson sliding over Singletary, tooling the block. Well, Singletary obviously one of the standouts along with Madison Skinner tonight. Who else has caught your eye?
Avery Carlson's been really confident in everything she's done so far. When she first went in, it was a hard serve. She had to dig. Touching the block.
Longhorns up by 3. Carlson, the transfer from Baylor. Alter serving. And swooping in for the point is Maggie Walsh.
Texas State, other than one set, has done a really good job at not getting into a hole against Texas. And even if they don't win this set, they're right behind them. They're not letting Texas go on too many extended runs.
Bobcats within 2 here in the final set. Adair serving. Bit of hesitation there. Skinner pushes it down for the 3-point lead, and with that, we'll take a break here in the 5th. Texas up 8.
The camera's on her. She's that player that when she's high-fiving, she's pumping her teammates up, and now it could be her turn next season.
An electric player, Mariana Singletary. 3 blocks as well as those 16 kills. Madison Skinner saved by Torres. Pushed over. There's Jenna Wenis. Clark. Maggie Walsh. Flying in is Wenis. And Ortega had to turn her back on that one.
Power kill by Wenis. She's clearly getting more comfortable with the role of a back row attacker. Not even going for seams, going straight for the middle back. Jared
Elliott told her, nobody can ever take away that national championship from you. He knows about the criticism she dealt with a year ago and said that moment was life-changing for you. Not only winning it all, but the way she performed down the stretch, as well as Texas 5 points away from ending the night. Torres. Here comes Skinner right into the block. Back to the senior they go. My goodness. Nothing you can do.
There really is only so much you can do against Maddie Skinner. Basically, be stopped in base, do your best to read her arm, but she changes her arm, and have your platform stop, pointed to your target. After that, just close your eyes, put on your helmet, and do your best.
24 kills in 5 sets for the 4-time All-American Madison Skinner. Here's Avery Carlson. Maggie Walsh meets the 6'5" redshirt freshman, Robert Tompkinson. Back to Tompkinson they go. Nice dig by Ortega. Tompkinson again making her presence felt.
Nice set.
Off the block.
And a nice set from Texas State at the 10-foot line. Going behind to the right set. Just a really good in-system play. Find that fast tempo offense Sean Hewitt's looking for.
There's Ferris. Carlson. Ames wasted no time putting that one away. 12-6.
Serving for Texas, Madison Skinner.
Skinner ready to serve.
And again, the spring match, especially when you're Texas this far up, you want to just go and hit the ball as hard as you can from behind the service line. Be aggressive and see what you can do for the fall.
Down by 5 off the Texas State serve. Ames with the point. What do you make of her debut tonight for the Longhorns?
Ames is something else. She's definitely a force to be reckoned with. And Texas State's doing a great job. They're getting touches, bodies on the floor. When you're facing the defending national champs, this is a great start for your season. Texas State is going to go off in the Sun Belt, I have no doubt.
Nearly getting the ace was Ames. Benke sends it over. And it will be an ace for the freshman. Set point and match point on the way for the defending national champs. And Texas finishes off the Bobcats with the block. They take the 5th and final set, 15-7, winning all 5 sets against Texas State.
Tompkinson and Singletary finishing the match with a